My investment portfolio is currently at £156,000. This here is the high level summary, and on the right, this is literally everything that I invest into. We're gonna come back onto that shortly, but in this video, I'm gonna be telling you exactly how my own investment portfolio has performed so far in 2025, exactly what I've invested into and how much, and more generally, what I invest into so you can see my total investment portfolio. Let's get into it. I started 2025 with a total investment portfolio of just over £143,000. For context, I started investing back in August 2017, so this definitely did not happen overnight. It's been multiple years, over half a decade in the making. Across 2025 so far, I've invested £15,636. Let me tell you exactly where that money has been invested. £15,276 has gone into global index funds and global ETFs, and £360 has gone into crypto. Now, that's all well and good, but I actually think an easier way to look at it is how the contributions have gone into my various investment accounts, as ultimately different accounts have different tax advantages, different ages you can access them, and so on. £3,324 went into my workplace pension, £6,549 went into my Vanguard general investment account, £360 went into my crypto.com crypto investment account, and finally £5,403 went into my SIP. These now on screen are also the specific investments that I made in each of these accounts. I'm not a financial advisor, of course. This is what I just do personally with my own money, but I find it helpful to be as transparent as possible. So hopefully this transparency and this lack of gatekeeping is helpful. To come back to my actual investments then, £10,833 came from my own personal income. This is essentially just money from my 9-to-5 job that I then invest. And for anyone who is new here, I work as a chartered accountant and then do Making Money Simple, where I make content on investing on the side. The other £5,403 has come from my business bank account, which I moved the money from the limited company to my SIP. So another way to look at it is that 55% of the money that I've invested is now locked up in inaccessible accounts, and that is my workplace pension and my SIP. On the other hand, 45% of the money is accessible, and that's through my Vanguard general investment account and my crypto account. Although, of course, if I did ever try to access that money, I would have to sell, and there would be tax implications of doing that. As another quick side point, and for anyone that isn't aware, I'm currently living in Australia. So that is why you don't see a stocks and shares ISA on this list. As I'm based in Australia, I'm using my Australian investment accounts to carry on investing my dingo dollars every single month. And that is my workplace pension or superannuation and my Vanguard general investment account, which I also tuck away some money into every month. I continue to invest a small amount into crypto each month, and I'm also able to contribute to my Vanguard SIP because of this on the screen. So it's a tax efficient way to essentially move money from my limited company into my own personal name, my SIP, to get it invested for the long term. My total investment portfolio now halfway through 2025 stands at just over £156,000, which means my capital loss or year-to-date loss is £2,767, which is 1.93%. How does this compare? Well, this is how some of the big indices and asset classes have performed so far this year. So I'm sort of in between the best and worst of them. Of course, looking at this, I should have put all my money into gold, but there you go. To be honest with you, given everything going on, as we like to say, being British, it's not too bad. When you consider the tariff saga that happened earlier on in the year, the ongoing wars and now new wars, which is awful, the fact that the loss is actually quite small, and even in the global stock market, it's even smaller, just shows that it's just impossible to know what's going to happen. So simply just investing and being consistent is the simplest, but also the best approach. One question I always get, does this include everything? Yes, it does. It includes absolutely everything. My stocks and shares ISA, all my general investment accounts, all my workplace pensions, my SIP, everything. And yes, even my workplace pensions. I always get the question, why do you include your pensions? For two key reasons. Number one, that's my money and it's being invested. And number two, that is going to form part of my financial planning, retirement planning, financial freedom plan. And it will actually probably form a very big part just because that money is being invested today and will be compounding for decades. So that ultimately is why I look at everything all together for my total investment portfolio. At the time of recording, it is July the 2nd, and yesterday was my birthday. Woo! And given I'm approaching 30, I'm getting older, I'm a couple of years away, I'm trying to do this 30 before 30 list. I'll put it up on screen, so if anyone has got any ideas, honestly, absolutely anything, please leave them in the comments down below. I'm not even at the 30 yet, so I need a few more, but I would love to hear any ideas. So yeah, let me know. Thank you, really appreciate it. Back to the video. Now let me show you absolutely everything that I invest into. This here is my investment tracker that I use to track it all and have for multiple years. And on the right, you can see absolutely everything that I invest into. So the FTSE Global All Cap is still my largest investment by an absolute mile. If I scroll down, I like this pie chart on the right. It essentially shows that most of my money is in index funds and ETFs. So I've essentially got 84.6% of my money in funds, and for transparency, all of that money is in low-cost global index funds and low-cost ETFs. Of course, I've got many different investment accounts, so there are different global funds, but I essentially just try and find the lowest cost, most globally diversified fund in each investment account, and that's literally it. So I just pretty much just have one investment in each investment account that I have open. I then have 15.1% in crypto, which I'll come back to in a second, and then 0.4% in stocks and cash. So 85% of my money is in global index funds and ETFs, and 15% is in crypto, pretty much. As you can see, this overview includes absolutely everything, including my pensions. If I scroll back up to this crypto split here, you can see that most of my money is in Bitcoin. 76% is in Bitcoin. I've then got a bit of Ethereum and then also a little bit of CRO. So CRO is the crypto.com token. That's who I use to actually invest into crypto, the platform that I use. And that is their native token. And that's essentially staked because I have one of their prepaid debit cards, prepaid cards. I'll put it up on screen. So that's staked to get some perks. That's why I have that. Then everything else is in Bitcoin and Ethereum with a massive weighting clearly towards Bitcoin. I released a recent podcast episode with my exact crypto approach, so I'll link it down below if anyone's interested in how to buy crypto, store crypto, and all of that jazz. This investment by account graph on the left is also quite interesting. And what I guess I'm getting across here is you can see it's quite a nice even split. I've got a third in ISAs, my stocks and shares ISA and my stocks and shares lifetime ISA. I've got about a third in general investment accounts, and I've then got a third in money that's locked up until later on in life, retirement, which is my SIP in the UK and my superannuation in Australia. So ISAs, of course, have massive tax advantages, and that money is tax-free when I come to access it. General investment accounts, which is essentially my crypto.com crypto account and my Vanguard Australia general investment account, those gains will be taxable whenever I do come to sell and withdraw. And with my pensions, of course, that money is inaccessible, but I've avoided the tax on the way in and I won't have to pay tax when I come to withdraw. So each type of account, ISA, general, pension, all have different pros and cons, different tax implications, and so on. I also have this chart, which is just my stock market portfolio. So it excludes crypto. And you can see once again that there's a massive weighting towards index funds and ETFs. And on the left, you can see those exact index funds and ETFs. And as I mentioned, I wasn't lying to you, that all low cost global index funds and ETFs, one in each important investment account of mine. By the way, if you want to get this dashboard, I do sell it on my website, so I'll link that down below as well. There's going to be quite a few links in the description, but yeah, I'll link everything down below. And finally, I do quite like these graphs as well. These are compounding projections for my total investment portfolio across 10, 30, and 50 years at different rates of return. So say in 30 years' time, by the time I get to 58 years old, if the markets keep performing well and deliver 10% like they have historically, my investment portfolio could be worth nearly £3 million. And that's if I don't contribute another penny. That, of course, is before inflation, but it's pretty wild to think about. I, of course, will hopefully still be contributing many, many pennies, thousands of pennies, hopefully. So those numbers will be even bigger. Of course, there is a balance between enjoying life today and investing, and everyone's balance is different. But I think looking at those graphs and having them forecasted is always interesting to look at. And hopefully they'll keep growing over time as the markets deliver some good returns and I invest more and my portfolio gets bigger. That is my investment portfolio. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, as always, just let me know. And if not, click this video here to delve into which global fund is best. Of course, I'm a massive advocate myself for global index funds and ETFs, and we go through choosing a global fund in a lot of detail in that video. Thanks for watching.